What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kelvin Sowa and I'm on a mission to helping new developers understand how to build cross-platform mobile applications with React Native. So far in this series, we've been laying down the foundation by setting up our development environment and understanding how to use some of the core components in React Native. We've also seen how to use some of the common React hooks like the useState hook and also the useEffect hook. In today's video, we'll be taking things up a notch and diving into something every mobile application needs, which is the text input component. When it comes to building screens like the login screen, the sign up screen, or even the search screen, we cannot achieve this without making use of the text input component. User input is at the heart of nearly every app experience, and text input makes that possible in React Native. In this video, we'll start by introducing what text input is and how it fits into the React Native ecosystem. You'll learn how to capture inputs from users using the onChange text prop, and also how to store and manage that input using the useState hook, and finally how to customize the look and feel of your text inputs. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to add input fields to your app, you also have a better understanding as to how React Native handles user interactions. Now, if that sounds like something you're excited about, do want to leave a thumbs up on this video and feel free to share this video as well. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Now let's jump right into it. Okay, so we are back in our workspace here. Now before we begin, let's make sure that we have checked out to a different branch. So right now we're on the lesson 3, which was the previous lesson. So let's switch back to the main branch here like so. So now we're on the main branch. Let's make sure that the main branch is the same as what we have on our remote branch. So we just press this button over here and then it should update it for us. All right, so as you can see here, we now have the updated versions on the main, and now we can now check out to a different branch over here. Let's say git checkout B. Let's call this lesson 4 like this, and let's go ahead and then create a new component over here. Call it lesson 4.tsx. Let's use our favorite snippets, rnfes. Change the name to lesson 4 like this, and then when we come back to the index, we comment out this lesson 3, and then we can now import the lesson 4 here like this. All right, so this is the lesson 4. Now we can go back. Let's close this. Let's close lesson 2. Now let's go back to the lesson 4. Now over here, we are going to see how we can work with text inputs in React Native. So in the previous ones, we did something like this, where we have text, my name. Let's space this out. My name is, and then Kelvin here like this. And then we had another one, which is the age, saying I am 64 years old, something like this. And then we had some useState hooks here, which is the name, set name. Let's import the useState from React, and then let's put the value here as Kelvin. And then for the age, let's set the age to 12 like this. And then let's replace the name here with what we have here, which is the name, and then the age with the age itself. So let's reload our server here, and let's make sure that the text is more visible by applying a style to it. Let's see, font size should be 25. Let's copy this and apply it on the age text as well. All right, so now what we want to do here is we want to make sure that we have a text input, and then we are using the values that are inputted in the text input over where we have the variables. Okay, but before that, let's add some styling over here, and then let's make it flex 1 for the views to make sure that our items are over the top. And let's add a margin vertical of, let's say, 30 here, like this. So the items are over here. All right, awesome. So to have text inputs in React Native, we simply import the text inputs from React Native itself. So we say text input here like this, and make sure it's being imported from React Native. All right, now we should see it here. Now it's not very visible, but it is actually there. If I press on it right now, you should see that there's some insertion points breaking over here, which means the text input is actually there. But to be able to see it, we need to apply some styling to it. So let me add a style here. And let me just say styles dot text input like this. And then over here, I can simply apply some styling to it. So I'm going to say border width. I'm going to add a border to it, border width of 1. And then let's add a border color of this hex color. See 1E, 1E, 1E like this. Let's give it a padding of 10. Good. And let's give it a width of, let's say, 250 like this. All right, so we have this text input here like this. And let's add a sort of a label to it, with a text label here saying enter your name like this. And also with the text input, we can add some props to it here. And some props that we can add to this text input is a placeholder, right? So we can add a placeholder to it saying there for the name example, let's say Joe, like this. So you can see we can have the place, we can see the placeholder in there like this. So enter your name and then we have the placeholder. Now our objective with this is that whenever we enter any value inside the text inputs or the name, we want the value to be replaced inside here instead of having this default Kelvin over here. Now to do that, we are going to use a prop in here, which is called the onChange text like this. And then over here, we are going to apply a function. We're going to use a function in here, which is going to handle the text change. Okay, so we can basically write the function inside here like this. So we are going to basically, it returns this value here, this text value here that basically serves as the value that is entered inside the text input. So over here, I'm going to set name to whatever the text is. Okay, like this. So whatever, let's bring this down here like this. So we have the placeholder, we have the style, and then onChange text, which is going to hold the function that handles what we do with the text that we get from the text input. So for what we are doing now is that whatever is being entered inside the text input, we want it to be saved inside this state variable, which is the name. Okay, so let's try that. Let's say the name is Joshua. So as you can see, the name I typed here is now being replaced over here. That's the text input. Now let's do a similar thing for the age. Yeah, let's duplicate this and then enter your age over here. Age like this. And then instead of set name, we're going to say set age. We can make this age. Now we're getting an error over here. Yes, that's because this value is supposed to be a string. Now this is just TypeScript string. You can choose to ignore, or better still, you can just set it or stringify it, or say age dot, or to make it an integer, rather, to make it an integer. This is some TypeScript. Let's say pass int. You can just do this to fix that TypeScript error, or just use this number type over here and it's going to fix that. We are getting that TypeScript error because this useState hook is holding an integer value, right? So since it's holding an integer value, it has already inferred the type for it to be an integer. So over here, we are passing a string to it. So as you can see, the age value here is of type string, and then we are passing a string to a variable or a state that is expecting an integer. That's why I was throwing that TypeScript error. But since we casted the value from a string to a number, it's now accepting it as a number. That's why the error is no longer there. So that actually resolves our issue. So the placeholder, we can say example 30 like this. So now if the name is Joshua, my name is Joshua, and then the age, we can type whatever we want here like this. So I am 75 years old. Now we can also check for some other props here, where for the text input here, we can decide which keyboard type we want to appear. So when you come over here, you check the options here. We have some keyboard options here. You can see keyboard type over here, and then there are a number of types that we can apply on a React Native text input. We have these default ones. Okay, the app has closed for some reason. Let's sort of restart the server. Let's close it, clear, and then do yarn start or npx expo start if you are using Windows, or whichever package manager you are using. And then we are going to, I'm pressing I to bring back the app. Okay, so the keyboard types, let's enter the type before we even start the app. So the keyboard type that we want to use here is the numeric type, right? So because we want it to open the numeric keys for us. So now let's start the app again. Say yarn start. Then if it opens, we open it on the IO simulator. And then we should now see it. Okay, good. So now if we enter the name, my name is Joshua like this, and then the age, I open the keyboard. You can now see the keyboard is now a numerical pad here like this, and it's opening the numbers keys for us. So basically these are some props that we can have access to in React Native. It actually has a lot of other props here. I'll be leaving a link in the description, which you can visit the documentation and get to see which other props is available in the text input. So look out for that link in the description as well. Okay, if this video has been helpful, please do also like it, and then leave your thoughts in the comment section. Also share this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much, and catch you in the next video.